Donc lorsque je flingue, c'est toute ma putain de nation qui flingue avec moi. Tu vois ce que je veux dire?
Welcome back, everyone. This is Puda with 3 rounds live. Jumping in a little late. We had some link issues. I got it taken care of, but we're going all the way to Rhode Island today, talking to a pretty experienced and successful amateur boxer right now, and really just getting started, right? It's just about to do her thing in the youth division, did a lot of stuff in the junior, so we're going to go ahead and to talk to the champ along with coach. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Awesome. Hey, I appreciate you guys' the patience to make this happen, but you guys are here. So first of all, go ahead and just introduce yourself, name, city, and state, the name of the gym. Let us know who you guys are.
I'm Coach Chana, also dad, from Providence, Rhode Island, from Main Event Boxing. Here's my daughter.
I'm Ciana Nonhphala from Rhode Island, Main Event Boxing.
Main Event, sounds good. First question, and I'll kind of, direct questions either way. Some are for both, some are directly one for or the other. But for both of you guys, how do you guys get involved with the sport? How do you guys get involved with boxing?
I got involved in boxing by I just go into the gym with my mom just for fun. And then one day I just decided to do it. And then the coach was like, oh, like she's actually pretty good. So then it just went on from there.
Yeah, how I started coaching her. My coach at the time, which was hers as also, he had a knee surgery, and then I had to take the job on. Shout out to Brian Panacchia. Yeah, from there on is history.
Okay. So you competed at some point, or
Yeah,
or
not a lot. It's just I was just a little too old.
got it. So you really embraced the coach role.
Yes. I always loved boxing. I was into it. Watched it as a kid growing up. Did it a little bit, and then tried it out. You know what I mean? And then saw the talent in my kids, and I was like, I ain't going nowhere with this. So let's pass it on to them.
Nice. And then Ciana, we've had, like father daughter, father son type scenarios here with some of the boxers that are competing, especially at the national level. When was it when you actually started to take it serious? Because it's one thing to kind of tag along, go to the gym, and kind of mess around with the bag or whatever. When was it like, okay, you know what, I can be pretty good at this?
It was around 2020. I had my first fight in 2020. It was the regional silver gloves, and like just around there, like 2020, 2019 area, I started taking it seriously.
What was it? Was it something? Was it a particular bout, or was it just winning, or what was it? Because this is not a sport that everybody picks up. So what was it that made you go after it?
Well, at the time, we had like a huge team. Like it was me, my brother, like a bunch of cousins at the time. So we all were just having a lot of fun. And during the regionals, actually, like we had went, it was probably like 9 of us, and it was just really fun out there. And I had a good time, like just traveling and all of that. So just went on.
You just kind of the lifestyle portion of it. It seemed like kind of got you in there, and then coach. You just said it, coach, dad. Is it hard to kind of balance both? Like, what do you know when to switch it from one to another? When when you're dealing, trying to develop your boxer as a boxer, but also knowing that that they're your kid.
Right. Well, and in that case, I like to balance it when we go home, shut it completely off. When we at the gym, it's strictly business. But she makes it very easy for me where she's mature enough to understand certain situations. We have good chemistry. conversation don't get hectic. She makes it a lot easier than most coach slash dad. You know what I mean? Usually you see a lot of arguments going on, but we have a good chemistry and it's easy. It's easy.
What about from your perspective, Ciana? Is it easy as that, or is there some times where things kind of bump? Like maybe you know maybe you want to do something a little different than what he's telling you. Like how are you taking that as well? Because it's a dynamic for you too to deal with.
It's from my angle too. It's also pretty easy. Like, if we do get into like an argument at the gym, we know it's strictly at the gym. Like, I don't take it home and I'm not like, oh, I hate my dad. This, and that. Like, no.
Don't get it wrong, it happens. It does happen.
Most definitely. Hey,
But
this is an emotional sport. I
right,
definitely.
exactly. Sometimes you're not on your best days, and dad's trying to tell you what you're doing wrong. It doesn't help that you're dealing with a teenager. Let's put that in there.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
but then, like I said, she's mature enough to understand the situation, and then dig into the scenario, and then fix it from there. But I going home after a argument at the gym, I always make sure that we're clear on why that situation occurred, and we still love each other, and that's it.
Nice,
On to the
nice.
next day.
Yeah, and it's a sport that kind of demands that. Especially this is this is a marathon. It is not about winning a certain tournament a certain year. It's about continuing to develop the kind of go for those goals that you guys have in the future, right? Because there's a lot of things that uh, you're kind of setting yourself up for that, and kind of talking on that a little bit, Ciana. When you first started the sport, you were taking it seriously, you were training, you were taking bouts and whatnot. Like, what were your goals then, and how have your goals changed now? Because you won multiple national championships. We seen you at the OTC. Like, how are those goals kind of switching now from when you first started?
When I first started, I honestly like my goals. I didn't really have any goals at the time. Like, I was just doing it because I enjoyed the sport. I loved it, and I would have never guessed that I would get this far. Like, obviously, like my goals now are the youth team, like competing internationally at some point, and then the 2028 Olympics.
Nice. And we'll definitely talk about the Olympics, kind of that whole thing that's happening there. But Coach, you kind of touched on it a little bit. When you saw that potential, right? And
Mhm.
and Ciana and some of your other boxers, we always talk about, the boxer has to stay sharp, right? You gotta
Right.
stay ready, not get ready, those type of scenarios. But as a coach, seeing the potential, how are you preparing yourself to be able to develop her properly, from the start, from the ground up, to make sure that she is at her, peak performance by the time she's competing at a national championship, moving up the youth, moving up the, like, how are you making sure that you're also, you know, evolving with your coaching?
Well, when it comes to coaching her and understanding the situation, we have to understand that every time you're competing on that type of level, the highest level, when it comes to amateur boxing, you can't be like shy to like ask for help, ask for opinions or whatnot. Um, you actually kind of like sit back sometimes on your couch maybe, and just be like, am I doing this right? Do I need help? And all of that. If everything checks out, let's go forward. But then if it doesn't, and she's lacking something that's needed, and I can't correct it, I come from friends that box. I have a lot of guys. My old coach, I can ask. We have main event, a tremendous team. A lot of wisdom. Yeah, I'm not shy to just share this this future champ. It's whatever it takes to see her succeed.
Awesome. Love to hear that because even though Ciana's the only one in the ring, it really is a team sport. You do need that
Right.
the people behind you to make sure that they're guiding you, developing, and pointing out some of those things that still need to be tweaked. This is a sport where it's a very, very jealous sport. You always
Right.
have to be improving. You always have to be sharp. You always have to be,
Absolutely.
because the person across the ring, they also want to win, right? They also have
Well,
the story. So how do you guys prepare for that type of dynamic where, well, let me ask you this, like, has there been a moment, Ciana, where you've, dealt with a little bit of adversity? Maybe the fight didn't go as you wanted to, maybe there was a little bit of trouble here and there. And how did you overcome some of those challenges in a bout, where you got a crowd and you got all those type of things happening?
It was a couple years ago. I was getting ready for a junior Olympics, and like leading up to that camp, I was just like, I felt like I was almost like overworked at the time, and that my head just really wasn't in the fight at all. And it was like a couple days before we were about to leave, I was like saying like, I don't want to do this and that.
Mm.
But we ended up going through with the tournament. We went. I did end up losing, but from there on out, when we got back, we like learned and like talked as like not even just a team, but as a family. We just talked about how like it's good if we need breaks, then we're gonna need to take them. And after that fight, I did take a break for a couple, like I think a month or two, and
Mhm.
then I ended up coming back, and then I went to Silver Gloves regionals and nationals, and ended up winning the whole tournament after taking a break. So.
Look at that. And coach, from your perspective, when you see some of those things, where burnout is very real in
oh yeah.
in in boxing. I've seen boxers that climb up, get to the national team, and then just kind of just quit. While
Mhm.
they're kind of get to the point that they wanted to be, but it's that constant just working and being in the gym and not knowing how to balance rest. You know what I mean, and
Right.
that
Right.
aspect of it. So how do you deal with that and try to avoid any of those scenarios, dealing with burnout?
Well, actually, that's funny how we're talking about this because I take burnouts really, really seriously, like to the point where when we're not in training camp for a major tournament like nationals and stuff, I take it down into a science where they're resting, but then keeping it afloat. We actually talked about this today. Actually, we want to keep afloat where we're not losing our whole stamina, but we're staying in the gym, staying a little active. So when it's time to come, we're not completely burnt out from coming to the gym every single day. And then when it's training camp is training camp. So now it's every day, 7 days a week, and we're locked in. So burnouts, I'm really, really onto that because you gotta remember something. These are still kids, you know what I mean?
Yep.
They're growing up. Ciana's a teenager. They want to hang out with friends. They want to go to the movies. They want to do
Hmm.
this. They want to do that. And I'm not here to stop all of that. You know what I mean? Because she's a kid first, then boxing comes second.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's good hearing it from the coach, right? The authority figure in the gym and in training camp, because sometimes some of those things are overlooked or maybe even looked, like you can't come to the gym today, like as an issue, instead of like, what, okay, there's a reason why maybe some of these things are happening. So it's good to kind of put that in front of you and be aware of that, because your boxer will eventually kind of benefit from that approach.
Right.
So real quick, 3 round slide number 205. We're out in Rhode Island. We're talking to Ciana Nonhphala and Coach Chana. Ciana is in the youth division. What was it? 106? Correct me. What weight?
Yep.
106, right? Yeah,
We just
definitely.
moved
Right.
up to 106. Yep.
Definitely. And can you coming off a great 2024, started off 25, real nice too over at the Silver Glove. So we'll definitely get into all that. But first, boxing is not a school sport, right? You know, there's rare occasions where boxing is part of the program in some schools that I'm not aware of, but apparently there are. How do you balance that? You know, you're a student athlete, but in a sport that is not kind of embedded into the school system, where maybe you get a little bit of benefit when you have to go to tournaments, or you have to, you know, you have to go out of school for a certain amount. You know, are the teachers kind of, you know, are they supportive of your time when you have to leave a couple times during the year? Like, tell me a little bit about how you handle that and how the school kind of helps you out, or you know, what that whole thing is for you.
Well, luckily for me, I did get like really lucky, and I have a school that does like support. All I gotta do, I just tell them like, oh, I do have this tournament coming up, and I'm gonna be gone for a little bit. And they do understand, and they like always like, oh, keep me updated, this is and that. But I am still like, when I'm at tournaments, I try to stay up to date with as much work as I possibly can. But sometimes there are teachers who are just like, oh, you're leaving again, this and that. But I mean, for the most part, they're pretty much understanding, and they're supportive as well.
Awesome. Do they? I know some other boxers that we had on. Sometimes they like show their fights in the classroom, anything like that for you?
I've, I've like showed like my teachers like
Okay.
clips of them and stuff, but a lot of times they're like, oh, it's too aggressive, it's too violent, I don't want to watch it.
Definitely, and you know, just that just kind of goes to the kind of you know, black eye that boxing gets as a whole. Oh, you know, it's a sport it's violent and all that stuff. But you know, if especially for like a teenage girl or younger, you know, you kind of came up in the sport. Like, what would you tell somebody that might be interested in the sport, like that might be in the fence of trying boxing or not? Is there any advice that you can give them to, you know, maybe try the sport?
I would tell them you have to either be all in or all out, because if you like do it halfway, it's not gonna work. It's gonna be real bad for you.
Definitely. Hey, this is definitely, you know, they say it, you know, you can't play boxing, right? They're like, this is not the sport where you can just ride the bench or do something like that. And it, because, you know, if you're not putting your 100% into it, it'll show. You know, come fight night, it'll definitely show. Uh, so, you know, and coach, for you, you know, especially when you guys started to compete at the national level, right? You know, you're wrapping her hands up. You guys are a couple bouts out. Like, what are you telling her? How are you getting her mentally prepared? Because the mental aspect of it is critical, right? You can look good in the gym and do all this stuff, but if you can't be calm enough to execute what you've been training, it kind of becomes difficult. How are you getting her ready to go through those ropes and execute?
Well, I'm I'm all about balance. So I understand when to get serious, when to be funny, when to be dad, when to be, you know, even a friend when you need to talk to. But when it comes to like minutes out from
Mhm.
that big fight, my sarcasm comes in. I'm keeping her mind off being too serious where she's nervous. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to lighten up the situation. That's how we deal with it. Put on the music, dance a little bit, not really dance, but you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Bob out to it, and then, you know, let's go. Let's go. Here we are. Here's what we do. Here's what we do. And we just
Definitely.
go out and perform.
There we go. Hey, you guys been having a lot of success doing what you guys have been doing in the ring, and you know, in Ciana. I mean, you know, you guys are getting ready, and you got headphones on. I'm assuming, you know, like, what do you listen to? How are you getting, you know, in you know, fight mode?
Um, I listen to like Lil Baby, Gunna, uh,
Taylor Swift.
no,
Nah.
Look at that! Look at that!
but like usually rap.
Okay. Just to kind of get you a little hyped though, okay? Because I've heard all types of answers to that. They got all type, but you're probably in the just kind of get me riled up type
Yeah.
vibe. So that's which is whatever kind of gets you to that mental state to be able to execute. And then when you meet your opponent in the ring with the ref, getting those final instructions. Are you the type of boxer that just kind of flips the switch, or are you already ready to go when you get inside the ring? Like, what happens when the bell rings? Are you studying her a little bit? How do you get the fight started?
Um, Pretty much from the second I step into the ring, I'm usually like, I just want the bell to ring. I want to fight. I want to fight. Like that's my mindset. Like going around to the judges, like seeing the crowd and stuff. That's all part of the fight for me. And then once I am in the corner and they like call her name and then call my name, I'm usually like studying her body language. And sometimes you can see like, oh, she's nervous. Like she looks nervous. And yeah, then just do what I do.
There you go. There you go. And coach, first round is over, right? You got back to the corner. What are those in between round conversation? What do Coach Lugo, from Georgia out there, real quick with his instructions, a couple seconds and he's out. Some are more animated. They're doing 1-1-2s right in the corner and stuff. Like, what kind of coach are you in there, and what are you trying to kind of convey to her, kind of give her, let her know to be able to put her in a position to come out with the W?
So for me, I would like to think like I do what I would like to think like I'm studying her opponent like live. You get what I'm saying? And then I see openings or whatever, and then that's where I start, doing all the calculations and or whatnot. And then I look at Ciana's body language. How is she doing? Is she comfortable and whatever? And then when the bell rings, I put that all together and then I make sure she's good. And then here's what we got to do.
Nice. No, that's and she needs that, right? She's in there in the heat of the moment, having those eyes outside the ring and kind of analyzing maybe some things that they can take advantage of, and put her in a good position,
Right.
To win. So
she's the one fighting. She's in the zone. It's my job to see what she can't see. So that's important for me to actually like go through every holes that I can find with her opponent and then, detach it after that.
There you go. And, I've seen you compete multiple times. Recently did a cut of one of your bouts against Yaya Segura out of California. Just an excellent bout, very technical and everything. But
shout out to Yaya, we love it.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to the Segura sisters out there. What kind of, like, if somebody hadn't seen you box, like, what kind of boxer are you? How would you describe your boxing style? What are you trying to do when you get in the ring?
I'm definitely more of like a technical boxer. Like there's aggressive, there's like sloppy, super. I would say I'm more of like a technical boxer. I like to use my feet a lot, like move around. That's more of my style. Like slick. Like I just get out the way, punch, do my job, and run.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I don't know. Sometimes you can get a little mean though, right? You want to sit down on your punches, right, and try to connect. Do you have a favorite punch that you love to land or try to land on your opponents?
I usually land the overhand right, like a lot, very often. And when it does land, it usually is pretty effective.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, not too many stoppages that happen in amateur boxing. I know you definitely had a couple, so that's always good to be able to kind of sit on that because you want to look good boxing, but especially it's more in the pros where it's more of an entertainment, so you want to kind of give them a little bit of that, but that's developing. And coach, talk a little bit about the gym, the training and all that. How soon does camp start? How many other boxers that compete at the national level do you have under you? Does the coaching change between boxers? Like, how are you getting your team ready to go?
Well, let's start from the beginning. So I have a job, like a 9 to 5, and then from my 9 to 5, I come right to the gym. Coming to the gym when we're talking about training camp for like nationals and stuff, we start at the very least, 4 weeks out, 4 weeks to 6. I like to keep it that way. I have like about 5 national levels of kids in my gym.
Mhm.
My son is one. I have two more. And who else? I have one is coming up. One is coming up very soon. And
Mhm.
yeah, right now I'm focused on a 7-year old. A
Hey,
7 year
hey,
he's
yep,
amazing. He's
there
gonna
you
get
go.
somewhere.
Nice.
But at the gym, it's usually yeah, I would say 4 weeks, 4 weeks minimum to start
How
training.
much sparring do you try to get in when and when do you start kind of tapering off a little bit when you get closer to the traveling and to go to nationals, or do you try to get as much sparring as you get, like how do you manage that?
Absolutely. So sparring, I try to get as much as possible, especially with a female, because
Yeah.
it's hard to find some sparring. Usually, um, I try to do as much as I can, but the thing is, sparring, I don't want to like put it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If I could break that up, that's ideal,
Mm.
because sparring, it could get serious sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but when it comes very close to flying out, I like to take the last week out, just to light work, treadmill, defense, all those stuff. But then the hard work should be done by then.
Definitely, definitely. It's especially early on, you got to get those miles in. You got to do all that stuff. And
Right.
Sienna, everybody has an aspect of the training regimen or just boxing that you just dislike. Maybe it's running. Maybe you hate running, but you have to do it. Like, is there some aspect of it you kind of like, I don't want to do it today? Like anything like that jumps out?
I hate running. Like I hate running so bad. It's the worst part of boxing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No. It's I heard a lot of that, but it's definitely a part of it, right? I mean, you can look very good doing mitts and all that stuff, but if you don't have the stamina to show that on the third round or something, or beyond, you got 3 minutes and all that good stuff. So it's definitely a balance to be able to do that. So, like for example, how many fights do you have so far?
I think around like 26, 27.
Okay. What is there a bout that stands out? Tough opponent, maybe one that you learned a lot from. Anything jumps out at you?
Brianna Martinez from
Okay.
California.
Okay.
Yeah,
What was it about that bout or that style that stands out to you?
it was just like a super competitive fight. Like it was tied all the way to the second round, and going into the third round, it was like whoever wins that takes it home, and it ended up just being a 3-2 split going into her favor. But from that fight, I did like it kind of proved to me like I belong here. Like this
Mm.
is me. Like because she's an amazing boxer. So being in the ring with her and seeing how close it was, I was like, yeah, this is
There
where I
you
belong.
go. Great attitude to have, because there is a lot of boxers out there who are very talented, and if you're able to kind of push them to the limit, that's helping your opponent, that's helping you out, and this is a process, right? L's are not losses; they're learning lessons. All that good stuff. So, being able to acknowledge that is definitely something that's it's good to have in this sport. And for you, coach, that bout, for example, you go through your 4 6 week training camp, right? You're preparing yourself as best as you can to be able to execute. You go through the tournament, you get a win, you make it to a certain point to the finals or whatever it may be, and maybe the decision doesn't go your way for whatever reason, right? Um, how what are those conversations on the trip back home? What are you trying to get out of that bout, the moment to be able to to get the good things to happen, right? Because nobody just gets to the finals, right?
Yeah.
And be able to really hone in on what worked and what needs a little bit more, fine tuning.
Well, as soon as she loses, I say you suck. No, I'm kidding. But when when is I, when we lose at the finals and it's very competitive, I don't actually look at it like a loss like that because this is the amateurs. You know what I mean? Like obviously we're gonna go back, rewatch it. That's why we lost. Oh, we needed to do this and we needed to do that. But that's the learning experience, you know what I mean? Like if you're gonna dwell on, I hear a lot of some teams, oh, we won that fight. That's a robbery. Nah, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's not me at all. Is if we lost, and you got to remember, you have five judges seeing a certain thing. Like it is what it is. I mean, we can't like argue it and overturn this. We just got to learn and move forward. That's it. And if we're upset and we really thought we won, let's re-watch it over and over and over. And then next tournament, we're going to get better. That's it.
Yeah, definitely. And you definitely hear it. You can't really get away from it when a tournament does happen and a bout goes in a way that maybe they think it didn't. And then you start kind of appealing or saying it's a robbery. It really does a disservice to the development, right? Because
Right.
if you're stuck in your mind that you didn't lose, then you think you don't have to change anything.
And
What I mean?
I'll be honest, like there's times I think that,
Mhm.
but I'm not gonna speak out on it. Maybe behind closed doors or something, but
Mhm.
it just sounds silly when you express it like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And you know, uh, Sienna, y- you've been winning nationals, right? You just won the Silver Gloves. You won it multiple times. JOs. You've been at the top of the podium at the Junior Olympics, uh, Women's Championships, the new tournament that they kind of have going. You participated and come out on top there. Uh, you know, are you starting to, with some of the younger boxers? You said you train a 70-year-old. With some of the younger boxers around you, are they starting to see you like? Are you feeling like a role model type? Like, are little kids coming up to you and trying to get advice? Trying to get where you're at. And how do you embracing that kind of new role that you're having? Because you do have a good amount of knowledge and you're winning. You're at where they want to be at some point.
Yeah, so I definitely am starting to feel like more of a role model. Like the little 7-year-old we're talking about, like he literally copies like everything me and my little brother do. Like if
Mhm.
we do like an entrance, just like playing around, he'll start copying us, doing the same thing. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this in my first fight. This is that. And then at like tournaments, I'm starting to see like a lot of younger kids like, oh, can I get a picture? Can like, where are you from? You're so good. How long you been boxing? And it definitely feels like good, and it also makes you work harder because it's like when more eyes are watching you, it makes you want to push harder and just do better.
And that's exactly why I make sure win or lose, the attitude's got to be up to par. You got to, face your losses like your wins. You can't overreact and look silly because a lot of youngsters is watching. Got to be a role model.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. And you know, the wins that you've generated so far have put you in good position. Last year you got the opportunity to go, uh, train at the OTC with Team USA out there. Tell me about that experience. From when you got invited to go there, and just walk us through the whole experience because you're among some of the best boxers in the nation. How was that whole experience for you?
Um, I just start from the beginning. Like when I had first found out, it was actually my mom, and she was so excited, like, cause she had gotten the text
Hmm.
from Chad at the time, and he was basically saying like, "Oh, we want to take her out here for as a training partner for Layla and Jocelyn, and yeah, we want to work." And she was like so excited, like she was like about to cry. She was calling like my aunt and stuff, like, "Oh my God, you don't know." And she came and picked me up from school, and I got in the car, and she looks at me, and she's like, "You have no idea what I just found out. Guess who just texted me?" And then she told me, and at the time, like I had just sat there for a second. I was like it took me a minute for me to process it all,
Mm-hmm.
and then like after a while, it was kind of like, wow, like these are the people who like I've looked up to. Like Layla, I've been watching her for like since my first fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh wow, she's really good. And then to find like the coach is like asking for me to come out to help them, it just kind of showed me like what type of level I was on. And once I got out there, it was it was really nice. Like I had been to the junior camp, but the youth camp, it was like a super enhanced version of it.
Yeah.
Like it was a really good experience. Like from like the cafeteria, super nice. I got to meet obviously a lot of new coaches, a lot of new boxers,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just overall a really good experience. It gave me more exposure to meet those coaches and like be introduced to like the style again,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just a great experience. I got good sparring, got good work over there, and the elevation. Once I came
Yeah.
back to Rhode Island after that,
Mm-hmm.
wow, my stamina was like crazy for like 2 weeks.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, you're up in Colorado, and then you're getting, intense training. You're saying, youth camp, elite camp. That's a different level, definitely from the junior camp, uh, and which is great for a young boxer like yourself to have that exposure, because now that USA Boxing has kind of rolled over and kind of switched to a selection camp procedure to be able to select the members of Team USA like they just did this week. The training camp and able to deal with that kind of regimen is important. It's almost more critical than actually winning a tournament. All you have to do is get to the finals, and you're already in the selection camp. And Matt Johnson, they've been on record saying that what you do at training camp is almost, if not more important than what you've done, because they want somebody coachable. They want somebody to be able to kind of switch into this more international type style. So being exposed to that at this young age can only benefit you. So when you came back, I mean, when you were out there, were some of the drills a little different? Like, did you bring some of those drills back home? Like, from the training aspect of it, what did anything surprise you, or what did you like, or maybe didn't like?
The youth camp, as far as like the like workouts went, it was very similar to the junior camp. A lot of like the warm ups and stuff were pretty much the same. So, but when I came back, I was able, like they did teach us a lot of new like stretches and stuff. So I was able to bring that back. Like they taught us like some weird stretches with like PVC pipes and stuff. It was like different. They did do like uh for the style part of it, obviously turning us into more international level. They did teach us like they want you to be like more long and more explosive with your feet and just like moving back and forth, back and forth. It was a lot more of that. It was a lot more of like style training that was different. But as far as like strength and conditioning and stuff like that, it was pretty similar to the junior camp.
Awesome. So, so that just tells me that you already kind of bring in some of those every time you're out there. You're bringing some of that stuff back and kind of getting more comfortable with it. So, and uh, coach, just to kind of switch it up a little bit. One of the things that is maybe not talked as much, but is definitely very part of this boxing journey is, uh, you know, going to the tournaments is not cheap, right? You got multiple kids, you got hotel, you got either a van, you got a fly down there. Most of the what was it? JOs is in Vegas this time. That's on the other side.
Can't wait
You
for
know what I
that.
mean? You know what I
Can't
mean?
wait for that.
So, you know, how do you guys deal with that aspect of it? Because one of the things that amateur boxing, specifically in the U.S., if you want to get ranked, if you want to get all that stuff, you got to be there, right? I mean, there's no other way. You got to go to this tournament, and being there is part of it. How do you deal with it to make sure that you guys do have the opportunity to take, Ciana and the rest of your boxers to the tournaments when it's time to compete?
Well, expense is definitely big when we go. That's not a joke.
Yeah.
But I want to take this opportunity to thank our LBC. They help a lot. Yeah, but when we first started, it was all us. You know what I mean? But then when the recognition becomes real, and LBC is starting to see you, and they help. But I'm thankful to have like my wife to help out. I do okay, So going into this tournaments, it's very expensive, but I managed to get us there somehow, some way.
Yeah. It's that's why I always hats off to all the coaches and everybody that does it. Like you said, a lot of coaches, they have a day job. You got to do your thing in the morning, come back, coach, figure out.
Right.
You're the one that needs to have all the answers, right? Everybody's asking how about this or that, and you just have to manage it and to be able to do that and understand that it's a journey, it's a process, and things do happen. Maybe the outcomes are not there, but you're still learning, right? You're still, right, putting your foot on the pedal and making sure that everything keeps moving, right?
Exactly.
Definitely.
So managing that part is it could get stressful, to be honest, but as an adult, you wanna keep that behind closed doors and bring the positive out of the travel, because we all know boxing, mental comes first.
Yeah.
To physical, you could train every single day, but if your mental is not there, it just won't be. You know what I mean? Yeah. But as long as I keep everything positive and nothing to worry about, and here we go.
There we go. And Ciana, I think you've competed at every national tournament out there. Silver Gloves, JO, national championship. Do you have a favorite tournament? Do you have like one that you always look forward to going, or is it just business every time you go out there?
I have a couple favorites. JO's is usually in a pretty fun place. Like when we used to have it in Lubbock, like me and my little brother, we practically like learned all the streets of Lubbock just because we'll ride scooters around, go to
Nice.
the convention center, whatever. I also like Silver Gloves because I like how you have to win at every stage to keep moving forward. You meet a lot of new people. And the Silver Gloves event is just really fun in general. Everyone, like, they have a hotel attached to the convention center, so everyone usually stays there, and you just get to meet them and be in the same hotel as them. I also like the December Nationals, but I like that because of the belts. Like, I really want to win one of them belts.
And I just want to add, like, when you get up into that national level, boxing becomes like a very small community where everybody knows each other, and it becomes fun. You know what I mean? Hey, what's up? Here and there, familiar faces every single year, drinks when the job is done, and it becomes fun.
Yeah, definitely, and you hit it right. Everybody knows everybody. You heard this or that, or at boxer, I know you're keep getting your boxers ready, but do you sit down and try to look at other boxers, other coaches, and see what they're doing during tournaments, or are you pretty much locked in? And if you do sit down to watch other boxers, is there any boxers that you'd like to keep up with, or coaches or anything like that?
Well, I when I have time, I just like to keep calm and relax and time to myself. I really don't be honest, study any any videos or anything like that. I mean, I'm not saying I don't, but then it's not all the time. But do I study different boxers? Um, Not really, but then there's a lot of boxers I'm very, very impressed of. Like, for example, like the kid Salim. Salim is amazing,
Oof. Yeah,
amazing boxer.
most
And
definitely.
the the Hawaii girl Islin,
Oof.
she's
You
amazing.
got to keep an eye on her.
Um,
Definitely.
yeah. So, I mean, when I go to those tournaments, it's not really videos. It's actually watching it live and then just like understanding what kind of talent is around us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most definitely. And talent, oof, there is plenty of out there. Uh, so tell me a little bit about just the Rhode Island amateur scene. Is there what is it like out there? You guys are far east up there. Like I know. I mean, do you guys travel to like New York often? Like where do you guys get your work and
So,
what other boxers should we keep an eye out in Rhode Island?
so Rhode Island is very small, very, very small. But luckily, the East Coast is almost like it's very compact where you think of, oh, let's go to New York. New York's only 3 hours.
Mm.
It's almost like LA to San Diego, right?
Hmm.
Kind of. So it's we got neighbors, but then I believe like with Rhode Island when it comes to work, uh, I I gotta be honest. I think she's overgrew the levels in
Mhm.
our region at least. I mean, like the state.
Yep.
But then we go to Connecticut. We get really really good work over there. We go to New York. We get good work over there. Massachusetts as well. We get good work there. But yeah, Rhode Island. The talents there is just very small, very limited.
Yeah, and you do get some areas where you do kind of outgrow the boxing talent around, right? So
Right,
you have to go out there and but luckily, like you said, you're uh, within driving distance, right, of some
right.
locations
Massachusetts
where
is like
Mhm.
50 minutes away.
Yeah, there you go. So it's always good because you know especially in boxing, you need that sparring, right? You need to be
Absolutely.
able to put yourself in different styles in front of you, different just that's the way that you're going to develop, right? You can train and do all this stuff in the gym as much as you like, but you got to put them into practice. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And do all that stuff. So
They have to see different looks.
yeah, definitely. Sienna, do you watch boxing? I know some boxers don't watch boxing at all. Like, they just don't. They box, but they don't watch the sport. Do you watch boxing?
I watch a lot of amateur boxing, and I also watch pro boxers, like whatever he has on the TV. We
Mhm.
usually watch a lot of fights though at my house.
Okay. Do you have any boxers that you like to follow in the amateur and in the pros? Just to keep up to see what they're doing.
For the amateurs, definitely my guy Celine. Uh, who else? For females, Alanis Artiga. She's really good. I
Oh,
love
yeah,
watching her. As
definitely.
he said, Island, super good, super talented. Um, I used to watch Emmanuel Chance a lot when he was like
Yep.
in the amateurs, obviously.
Hmm. Yeah.
For pros, I like watching Tank. I like watching Crawford and who else? Shakur. I watch a lot of Shakur too.
Yeah, definitely. And just kind of going through you guys' social media and stuff. I think you've met Katie Taylor or how was that experience? I mean, she's probably a first ballot Hall of Famer right there. How did meeting boxers that are at the utmost level that you want to get to, just how was it kind of being around her and talking to her and just getting to know a boxer that took the same journey that you're taking?
How we met her was honestly like really random. We were just going to Connecticut for some sparring, and she happened to be there, like for sparring with another girl as well. And we just saw her there. We was like, oh shoot, Katie Taylor's here. Like that's mad random. And we ended up getting to like watch her spar, and we got to take a picture after. And it was really nice because it was like before she even fought Serrano, and like being able to. We actually did go to the first fight,
Okay.
Serrano and Taylor.
Hmm.
We went to New York and watched that. So meeting her before then and then going and watching her later on was honestly like that that was a crazy fight to watch. Like it's one of the only ones I watched,
And
and
live, that thing was insane.
it
I
was
can
so
imagine.
loud
We
there.
couldn't even hear us ourselves talk. It
Yeah.
the crowd was bananas.
Yeah. And with what you're accomplishing now, how do you feel about maybe being a part of that? Women's boxing, especially in the pros, is exploding, right? You got cards that are just female boxers, and you got big bouts like the one that you guys attended with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. Just everybody really praising boxing, right? Not it wasn't even women's boxing; it was just good boxing that you saw. Like, how do you feel about the possibility of maybe being among them, in the future?
I mean, it's almost like crazy to think of because obviously, like I said, when I was younger, I would have never even thought to get to the level that I'm at now. So to be at the level that I'm at now and look even further, it's almost like it feels like surreal. Like this feels too crazy. It's a little bit too close. Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
definitely. And when I hear boxers about trying to go to the Olympics and all that stuff, like you're already at the OTC, you already have USA boxing coaches looking at you, like it's within reach, what I mean? And it's all about staying on track. And coach, what what are you doing as we look at the goals you guys mentioned about 2028 Olympics and competing internationally? Like, how are you making sure that you put her in the best position to be able to accomplish that when the opportunity arises?
Well, again, it's easy. She makes my life easy, and my job, as what I see of it, like as long as I keep her busy, she
Mhm.
already have to drive. I don't even have to go into that conversation. Like she's the one that's like, why are we not going to the gym today? Right? Like she's fighting me to go to the gym. So, I mean, I'm blessed to have her with that drive she had because, you know,
Mhm.
fighting your your kids to go in the gym and
Yeah.
that's a negative energy. You know what I mean? And like we all know, negative energy goes a different route. And for her to have that drive, that energy, and understanding what kind of potential she really have, and people are watching her, that's for herself, and she understand that on her own. And I'm just here like, let's get ready for this, let's get ready for that, and my wife, she's like the manager. You know what I mean? Like I
Mhm.
don't have to book any flights. I don't have to care who's in front of us. She knows all of that. So oh, we're fighting her. Okay, all right, all right. I know what she brings. We
Yeah.
get on to that, and but it's just a good team, a good
Yeah.
atmosphere, of what we got over here.
Definitely. And, as we kind of start rounding up some of my last questions here, I feel like I could keep on going, but, we try to keep it not too long. But, Ciana, for you, like, one of the things that makes the aspect of having your parent as your coach, you have that, every time the bell rings, you turn around and your dad literally has your back. He's right there. I mean, you're sharing these moments, these wins, the up and downs that comes with the sport. Like, how does it feel just being able to kind of go through this journey with them right there by your side?
It feels great. Like honestly, not even just my stepdad, but just like having my whole family there with me all the time. It's just it feels you feel more than supported. Like I never have to feel scared or nervous going into a fight because I know at the end of the day, if I win, if I lose, I still have my family right there. I still have my dad right there. Um, I feel like if my dad wasn't my coach, I feel like I wouldn't be able to reach like where I have in boxing because um as a dad, we're able to like talk about stuff outside of the gym. Like if I want to go home and I'm like I feel a little bit like this, like I feel a little tired today, like I'm able to express that to him like as my dad first, so that when we do have to talk about it, like as a coach and a daughter, I mean a coach and a boxer, then it's a lot easier because we get to understand more. And I'm also able to talk about fights or like how I'm feeling before a fight or a upcoming fight if I feel nervous, like stuff that you just wouldn't be able to talk about with like a regular coach at the gym when you guys are working. When we go home and I'm able to just talk to him as like I'm a little bit nervous for this fight coming up, whatever. It just makes the whole process a lot easier.
Awesome, awesome. No, it's good to hear. It's really a reflection on you, coach, and mom that I'm sure is behind the camera. And just the discipline, just the hunger to be great. I can feel that without even asking that question. Like I can understand uh, based on the accomplishments, the way that you're talking about, potential and the goals that everything is in there, and it's up to you, coach, and everybody else that's around to really kind of hone into that, right? And it seems like you guys are really doing an excellent job on that.
Thank
But for you, coach, real quick, for other parents that are looking to get into the sport, maybe coach, maybe just have their kid involved, like do you have any advice for parents going to this sport that, like I said, it's not part of the school program, so it's like you really have to find it, and sometimes people don't know enough about it. Like, do you have any advice for any parents that are trying to get involved with the sport, either coaching or just having the kids compete?
I would say make sure you're doing it for the right reasons and try not to live through them. Like you got you got some parents that would love to do the sport, but then they rather, I mean, they have their kids now to like do it, so they tend to live through their kids, and then it gets too serious at that time. I would say to the parents putting their kids in, just remember, try to make it fun. I mean, if it's not fun, then they're not gonna enjoy it. They're not gonna progress out of it because they're gonna end up hating the sport rather than enjoying it. Then from enjoying it, they're gonna prosper.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned earlier, about that bad energy and negative energy. It's real, and
It's
even
real.
though the kids may win or do certain things, uh, stick for them to stick around on their own later on is going to be difficult, right? They're not going
Right.
to feel like, so. But that's good, because a lot there's not it's not easy to find how to go about be participating in amateur boxing in the US. You really have to find it, you know what I mean?
Right.
And
And not everybody's the same. It's not everybody's the same. All teams are different dynamics. Most you don't even have the dad and you know
Mhm.
child um, duo like that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Is they're dealing with like their own personal coaches and stuff like that. So every situation is different. It's just that again, I'm blessed to be where I'm at, where it's just us and everything's understood, and I think that plays a big part of our success.
Awesome. Awesome. No, like the love to hear that. Really like the approach. And you're getting results. I mean, I don't have to say anything. You just got to look at the record. You just got to see what happened in 2024. You got to see what happened last month, and what's to come up, right? Like, how busy are we going to see you guys this year? What tournaments are you guys planning to attend?
Every single one of them. Every one of them. There's locals, I'm in there. like we're not even talking about the tournaments we know.
Yeah.
Anything we get our hands in, we're in there.
There you go. There you go.
I like to keep them busy.
Hey, you know what? This is a sport that really demands that. You know, what I mean, I've been along the sport, enough to know that activity is key. You have to be in there. You have to stay in there. You have to compete. You know, sometimes you don't get the opportunity. You only compete, in 4 tournaments of the year because there's nothing around. But yeah, we'll definitely keep track of you guys, the team. Just gonna wrap it up here. Ciana, go ahead and give out, any thank yous, shout outs to anybody that has helped you get to where you're at so far.
I just want to say thank you to my mom, my coach, obviously, my team at Main Event, all my friends and family who are watching, who are supporting, my little brother. We didn't mention him earlier when we was talking about like people in Rhode Island, but if we're being honest, it's me and my brother who are really like carrying Rhode Island's name right now.
For the amateurs.
For the amateurs.
Yeah.
Chassis is Chun. He's definitely in there.
Nice.
That's my
114. Watch out, Junior.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my guy. Thank you to him, all my sparring partners, everybody who just supports and watches.
There you go. There you go, Coach. I mean, you have to deal with other coaches, but you like you mentioned earlier, it really, you're open to get that help. So any shout outs, thank yous to anybody that has helped you as well.
I want to give a shout out to my team Main Event, Mike McCary, Jody, and my LBC, New England. Shout out to Alex. Thanks for your support. And Steve Clark, Tom Clark. Shout out to them. Thank you for everything. And my wife for being the manager, making my life easy. And my kids making this fun for me. This is a blast.
There you go. There you go. When you're having fun, it doesn't feel like work, right? It doesn't feel like a job. Tournament. What that's a road trip. You know what I mean? Like it's that. It's all fun and games, and it's also nice having other boxers and siblings around to make it enjoyable in a very tough sport. You know what I mean? Like if you really break it down, you decide it's a sport that's not built for everybody. Everybody cannot just be a boxer. And you guys are not only practicing the sport, you guys are being very successful at the sport. You got other people looking at you guys. We have a series where we try to point out boxers that you guys should know. And, I definitely mentioned Ciana last year because just in the short time, there's certain aspects and certain things that you can see as to the approach of a bout and the opponent and round by round that really can, create that potential to be something special, down the line. So, but that doesn't just happen, right? That takes a lot of work, a lot of determination, a lot of discipline. But it seems like you guys have that in abundance and doing that plus enjoying having fun, Rhode Island, man, that's a place to be. It sounds like, what I mean? So that's all I got for you guys. I do appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you for having us.
No, most definitely. I apologize for that whole link issue, but regardless, we're gonna post this whole interview and share it on the various platforms.
All right.
This is 3 Rounds Live is solely dedicated to amateur boxing. You can find any podcast and it's all about pro boxing and what a pro's doing and how come this happened or that happened. But it really starts with 3 rounds, right? It really starts at the amateur level. and that's what we're trying to shine. So, well, you already told us you guys are going to be at every tournament, a national tournament at least coming up. We're definitely going to look out. There's the international tournament that USA Boxing is doing. Is that one you guys are hoping to participate in as well, or no?
Listen, if it comes,
okay.
Let's do it.
There you go. 106 youth. We'll see. Trying to get that youth belt in December. That's it. Any final words before we sign off?
Nope. Thank you for having us.
Definitely. Hey, you guys have a good night, and we'll keep it going. I appreciate it.
All right.
Take it easy.
Say bye.
Bye.